Physical theatre is a genre of theatrical performance that pursues storytelling through primarily physical means. Several performance traditions all describe themselves as physical theatre, but the unifying aspect is a reliance on physical motion of the performers rather than or combined with text to convey the story. In basic sense, you talk through hand gestures, body language, thought track and many more physical features. Common elements. Demparcoulery suggests that all physical theatre shares some common characteristics, although each individual performance need not exhibit all such characteristics to be defined as physical theatre. Her research into the training or work of physical theatre artists cites an amalgamation of numerous elements adopted as a means to further inform the theatrical research production. These elements include, devised origins, rather than originated from a pre-existing script, interdisciplinary origins. It crosses between music, dance, visual art as well as theatre, challenging the traditional, proscenium arch, and the traditional performer-audience relationship. Encouraging audience participation. It can mean anything that is done physically through a performance. Some practitioners, such as Lloyd Newson, express a resistance to this term because they feel that physical theatre is used as a miscellaneous category, which is classified for anything that does not fall neatly into a category of literary dramatic theatre or contemporary dance. For this reason, contemporary theatre including postmodern performance, devised performance, visual performance, and post-dramatic performance, while having their own distinct definitions, are often simply labeled physical theatre without any reason other than because they are unusual in some way. It is also problematic that dance is of a theatrical nature. A dance piece will be called physical theatre, because it includes elements of spoken word, character, or narrative. It is theatrical and physical but does not necessarily share anything in common with a potential physical theatre tradition. Modern physical theatre. Modern physical theatre has grown from a variety of origins. Mime and theatrical clowning schools, such as l'École Internationale de Faux Centre Jacques Lecoq in Paris, have had a big influence on many modern expressions of physical theatre. Practitioners such as Stephen Berkoff and John Wright received their initial training at such institutions. Contemporary dance has also had a strong influence on what we regard as physical theatre, partly because most physical theatre requires actors to have a level of physical control and flexibility. Those qualities are rarely found in those who do not have some sort of movement background. Modern physical theatre also has strong roots in more ancient traditions such as commedia dell'arte, and some suggest links to the ancient Greek theatre, particularly the theatre of Aristophanes. Another tradition started with the very famous French master Etienne Decroux. Decroux's aim was to create a theatre based on the physicality of the actor, allowing the creation of a more metaphorical theatre. This tradition has grown and corporeal mime is now taught in many major theatrical schools. Daniel Stein, a teacher out of the lineage of Etienne Decroux, has this to say about physical theatre. I think physical theatre is much more visceral and audiences are affected much more viscerally than intellectually. The foundation of theatre is a live, human experience, which is different from any other form of art that I know of. Live theatre, where real human beings are standing in front of real human beings, is about the fact that we have all set aside this hour. The sharing goes in both directions. The fact that it is a very physical, visceral form makes it a very different experience from almost anything else that we partake of in our lives. I'd own a unregistered trademark. Do you think we could do it the same way if we were doing literary-based theatre? Arguably, the point at which physical theatre became distinct from pure mime is when Jean-Louis Barrault rejected his teacher's notion that the mime should be silent. If a mime uses their voice, then they would have a whole range of possibilities open to them that previously would not have existed. This idea became known as total theatre, and Barrault advocated that no theatrical element should assume primacy over another: movement, music, visual image, text, etc. He viewed each element as equally important, and believed that each should be explored for their possibilities. Barrault was a member of Michel Saint-Denis's company, alongside Antonin Artaud. Artaud has also been highly influential in shaping what has become known as physical theatre. Artaud rejected the primacy of the text and suggested a theatre in which the proscenium arch is disposed of in order to have a more direct relationship with the audience. Eastern theatre traditions have influenced a number of practitioners who have then influenced physical theatre. A number of Oriental traditions have a high level of physical training, and are visual masterpieces. The Japanese No tradition, in particular, has been drawn upon a lot. Antonin Artaud was fascinated with the energy and visual nature of Balinese theatre and wrote extensively on it. No has been important for many practitioners including Lecoq, who based his neutral mask on the calm mask of No. Jerzy Grotowski, Peter Brook, Jack Copeau and Joan Littlewood have all been consciously influenced by No. Alongside contemporary Western practitioners, certain Japanese theatre practitioners were influenced by their own traditions. Tadashi Suzuki drew partly on No, and his students and collaborators have disseminated his highly physical training into the West. This has particularly happened through Anne Bogart's collaboration with him and the simultaneous training of her actors in both the Viewpoints method and Suzuki training. As well as Suzuki, the Butoh movement, which originated from Tozumi Hijikata and Kazuo Ono, contained elements of No imagery and physicality. Butoh, again, has been influencing Western practitioners in recent years and has certain similarities with Lecoq's mime training in terms of ideas, as well as ideas outside of the Western theatre tradition creeping in gradually. There is a tradition from within Western theatre too, starting with Stanislavski. Stanislavski, later on in life, began to reject his own ideas of naturalism, and started to pursue ideas relating to the physical body and performance. Meyerhold and Grotowski developed these ideas and began to develop actor training that included a very high level of physical training. This work was influenced and developed by Peter Brook. Contemporary dance has added to this mix significantly, starting particularly with Rudolf von Laban. Laban developed a way of looking at movement outside of codified dance and was useful in looking at, and creating, movement not just for dancers but for actors too. Later on, the Tanzita of Piner Bausch and others looked at the relationship between dance and theatre. In America, the postmodern dance movement of the Judson Church dance also began to influence theatre practitioners, as their suggestions for movement and somatic training are equally accessible for those with a dance training as those with a theatre training. Indeed, Steve Paxton taught theatre students at Dartington College of Arts and other institutions. Notable performers, modern physical theatre companies and practitioners include companies practitioners centers of training See also, corporeal mime, mime artist, pantomime. References, ABC Callery, Dimpa. Through the Body, A Practical Guide to Physical Theatre. London, Nickern Books. ISBN 1-85459-630-6. Interview with Daniel Stein, 1. Further reading, Artaud, Antonin. Theatre and its Double, Baba, Eugenio. Beyond the Floating Islands, Bogart, Anne. The Viewpoints Book, Brook, Peter. The Empty Space, Clay, Alon. Angels Can Fly, A Modern Clown User Guide, Cross, Robert. Stephen Berkoff and the Theatre of Self-Performance, Decroux, Etienne. Words on Mime, Fellner, Myra. Apostles of Silence, The Modern French Mimes, Grotowski, Jerzy. Towards a Poor Theatre, Hodge, Alison. 20th Century Actor Training, Lee Abbott, Thomas. Modern and Postmodern Mime, Lecoq, Jack. The Moving Body, Hedden, Deirdre. Jane Milling. Devising Performance, A Critical History. Palgrave Macmillan. ISBN 1-4039-0662-9. Marshall, Lorna. The Speaking Body, Meyerhold, Vsevolod and Braun, Edward. Meyerhold on Theatre, Oida, Yoshi. The Invisible Actor, Stevenson, Darren. A Case for Physical Theatre, Suzuki, Tadashi. The Way of Acting, Wright, John. Why Is That So Funny? A Practical Exploration of Physical Comedy, Nickern Books, London, 2006, Allworth Press. Movement for Actors. External links, World Mime Index, Annual International Summer School of Physical Theatre.